Alrighty guys, thanks for joining me. This is your ID Jester. I haven't done one of these for a while, so need to get back into doing it and helping everyone out that's learning Dominion, learning all about the expansions for Dominion. This one is the 6th major expansion that was released for Dominion. It's called Hinterlands. It was released October 2011. So basically about 10 years ago, since it's now September 2021. So about 10 years ago. Adds 300 cards, 26 new kingdom cards. And its main theme is cards that have additional effect when bought or otherwise gained. So let's open up the box and take a look at what you get if you buy this expansion. So this one's been sitting on my shelf waiting for us to get to it. It's been very patient while we have gotten other things involved in other projects and stuff, but I wanted to come back and finish our look at all the Dominion sets. So we're hoping to get a few episodes done to keep everyone up to date. So if you buy Hinterlands, let's see what's inside the box. So obviously you get your little Rio Grande Games catalog with all the different games they have, your rule book, and of course a bunch of cards and your nice little insert to separate your cards, put all your cards inside of. So yeah, looks good. It's going to have your regular set of cards, and then of course your additional randomizer cards. Let's see what we got in pack number 1 here. So we have the Border Village, 6 cost action. Gives you +1 card, +2 actions, and when you gain this, gain a cheaper card. So let's look up on the old, sheet here. Oh, here's your little play age sheet that goes in there, so you know where to position all your cards. Alright, the Border Village. Normally Border Village costs 6, so it comes with a card costing up to 5. If Border Village has a different cost, such as because of a highway card, then that affects what you gain with it. So highway would also affect the other cards. Border Village also goes in your discount pile first with the card that you gain it. So playing this, you get an extra card, you get 2 actions, and then you get a cheaper card. So when you pay 6 for this, you also get a cheaper card as well. So that is the Border Village. Let's see what is up next. We have the Cache. The Cache. 5 cost treasure card. 5 cost treasure. And it gives you 3 ducats. And when you gain this, gain 2 coppers. So when you buy the Cache, you're also going to get 2 coppers, which you may or may not want. Let's see if we can place these out on the table in a semi-good fashion. If there are not 2 coppers left, you gain as many as you can. So that is the only specific rule about that. Alright, then we have the Cartographer. So it gives you +1 card, +1 action. It's a 5 cost action card. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Discard any number of them, then put the rest back in any order. So really help manage your deck for upcoming your next hand. That's pretty good. You draw your cards first, then look at the top 4 cards of your deck. If there are fewer than 4 cards left, even after shuffling, just look at as many as you can. Discard any number of cards you look at, none, all 4, or something in between, and put the rest back on top of your deck in any order. You do not reveal any of the cards except whatever ends up on top of your discard pile. Then we have, next card is going to be the Crossroads. It's a 2-cost action. Reveal your hand, +1 card per victory card revealed. If this is the first time you played a Crossroads, this turn, +3 actions. So reveal your hand. You get +1 card per victory card revealed. If this is the first time you play Crossroads this turn, get +3 actions. First reveal your hand, then draw a card for each victory card you reveal, if any. The revealed cards stay in your hand. Then, if this is the first time you play Crossroads this turn, you get +3 actions. Subsequent Crossroads this turn do not give you cards. Will give you cards but no actions. If you use Throne Room on Crossroads, you will play Crossroads twice, getting +3 actions the first time but not the second time. So there's some clarifications on that. The next card is Develop. So Develop, I guess we should actually read the card. That would be great. It's a 3-cost action card. Trash a card from your hand. Gain 2 cards into your deck with 1 costing exactly 1 more than it and 1 costing exactly 1 less than it in either order. So trash a card from your hand, gain 2 cards, 1 exactly 1 more and 1 exactly 1 less in either order. First, trash a card from your hand if able. If you trash a card, gain 2 cards, 1 costing exactly 1 more than the trash card, and 1 costing exactly 1 less than the trash card. The gain cards come from the supply. Gain them in either order, resolving any abilities due to gaining them, also in that order. If there are no cards in the supply that cost in the supply at one of the costs, you still gain the other card if you can. Put the gain cards on top of your deck rather than into your discard pile. If you trash a copper, which costs 0, you will fail to gain a card costing 1, -1, and try to gain a card costing just 1. So we got the Duchies coming up. What is her claim to fame? 2-cost action, +2 ducats. Each player, including you, looks at the top card of their deck and may discard it. In games using this, when you gain a duchy, you may gain a duchess. So in games using this card, when you gain a duchy, you gain a duchess. Interesting. When a player plays Duchess, each player secretly looks at the top card of their deck and either discards it or puts it back. Their choice. When a player gains a duchy in a game with Duchess in the supply, the player may also gain a Duchess, putting it into their discard pile. Next card is going to be Embassary. It's a 5-cost action, +5 cards, and then discard 3 cards. When you gain this, each other player gains a silver. The silver comes from the supply and are put into the discard piles. Gaining them is not optional for the other players. If there are not enough silvers left to go around, deal them out in turn order, starting with the players whose turn it is. So that is the rules on the Embassy. Now we move on to the Fool's Gold. It is a 2-cost treasure reaction. If this is the first time you played a Fool's Gold this turn, +1 money. Otherwise, +4 money. So, wow. So if you get a couple of these, +1 and then +4. When another player gains a province, you may trash this from your hand to gain a gold into your deck. Wow. So when another player gets a province, you can trash the Fool's Gold to get a real gold. This one only costs 2. That's I like that. That's super cool. Super cool little ability, actually. I'm trying to figure out why we missed the Farmlands. Should have been next, but obviously not. According to the rule book, anyways. So, Fool's Gold. The first Fool's Gold you play a turn gives you +1, and all further copies give you +4 money. So if you play 3 of them, you get +1, +4, +4, or 9 total money. Fool's Gold is also a reaction. When another player gains a province, you may trash Fool's Gold from your hand to gain a gold from the supply, putting it into your deck. You cannot use this ability when you gain a province, only when other players do. When another player gains, yep, all right. And we got the Haggler, I guess. The Haggler, it's 5 cost action, gives you 2 money. While you have this card in play, when you buy a card, gain a cheaper non-victory card. The Haggler. You're haggling. When you have this in play, when you buy a card, gain a cheaper non-victory card. While this is in play, whenever you buy a card, you gain a card that is cheaper than the card you just bought, but not a victory card. For example, you could buy a province and gain a gold. Gaining a card is not optional. The gain card comes from the supply and is put into your discard pile. Haggle only gives you an extra card when you buy a card, not when you gain a card by some other way, such as Haggle itself. If there is no cheaper cards available in the supply, you do not gain a card. Using Throne Room on Haggle will not give you 2 cards per card bought, as there is still only 1 copy of Haggler in play. A bonus is cumulative, though, so if you have 3 Hagglers in play, you will gain 3 more cards for each card you buy. And we have the Highway and a blank card. The Highway says, let's look at it. It is a 5 cost action, +1 card, +1 action. While this is in play, cards cost 1 less money. The Highway. That seems really good. This makes all cards cheaper to a minimum of 0 as long as it is in play. This applies to cards everywhere. Cards in the supply, cards in hand, cards in decks, and so on. For example, if you played Highway, then develop, trashing a copper, you would gain an estate, as estates would cost 1, while copper would cost 0. Using Throne Room on Highway does not make cards cost 2 less, as there is only 1 copy of Highway in play. The bonus is cumulative, so if you have 3 Highways in play, all cards cost 3 less. So that is the Highway. Next up is a treasure card called Ill-Gotten Gains. Ill-Gotten Gains is a 5 cost treasure card. Gives you 1 ducat, and you may gain a copper to your hand. When you gain this, each other player gains a curse. Ooh. So that's kind of interesting. When you play this, you may gain a copper. The copper comes from the supply and is put into your hand. You can immediately play it. When you gain Ill-Gotten Gains, each other player gains a curse. The curse comes from the supply and goes into the other player's discard pile. If there is not enough curses left to go around, Deal them out in turn order. Ill-gotten gains is not an attack, and gaining it is not playing an attack. Cards like Moat do not work against it. Next up is the Inn. The Inn is a 5-cost action. Gives you +2 cards, +2 actions, and discard 2 cards. When you gain this, look through your discard pile. Reveal any number of action cards from it, which can include this, and shuffle them into your deck. When you gain this, look through your discard pile. Reveal any number of action cards from it, which can include this card, and shuffle them into your deck. The Inn. When you gain this, look through your discard pile, something normally not allowed, and shuffle any number of action cards from it into your deck. You do not have to shuffle any action cards in your deck. You can shuffle the Inn you just gained into your deck, as it's an action card in your discard pile. You must reveal the action card that you choose to shuffle into your deck. It does not matter what order you leave your discard pile in afterwards. All right, next up is Jack of All Trades, which is a 4-cost action card. Gain a silver. Look at the top card of your deck. You may discard it. Draw until you have 5 cards in hand. You may trash a non-treasure card from your hand. So that is the Jack of Trades. It kind of gives you a little bit of everything. Gain a card. Look at the top card of your deck. You may discard it. Draw until you have 5 cards. And then you may trash a non-treasure card from your hand. This card does 4 separate things in the order listed. You do all of them. The last one is optional. First, gain a silver from the supply, putting it into your discard pile. Second, look at the top card of your deck and either discard it or put it back on top. If this causes you to shuffle, the silver will be shuffled in. Third, draw cards until you have at least 5 cards in hand. If you already have 5 or more cards in hand, you do not draw any cards. And fourth, you may trash a card from your hand that is not a treasure. That is optional. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This next card is Mandarin. 5-cost action. Gives you 3 money. Put a card from your hand into your deck. When you gain this, put all treasures you have in play onto your deck in any order. All right. When you gain this, you're going to put all your treasures from play on top of your deck in any order. You do not have to show this order to the other players. You have to put all of your treasures on top. You cannot leave some out. You only put treasures from play on top of your deck, not unplayed treasures from your hand. This does not stop you from having the gold you got from playing these treasures. For example, if you have +1 buy and play 4 golds and buy a Mandarin, you put the golds on top of your deck and still have 7 left to spend. The next card is Mangrave. This is a 5-cost attack action card. Margrave. I guess it would be Margrave, maybe. It is gives you +3 cards, +1 buy. Each other player draws a card, then discards down to 3 cards in hand. Drawing a card is not optional for the other players. A player who only has 3 or fewer cards after drawing does not discard. 2, 3. Next up is going to be the Noble Brigand. The Noble Brigand is a 4-cost attack action card. And it gives you +1 ducats. And each other player reveals the top 2 cards of their deck. Trashes a revealed silver or gold you choose. Discards the rest. and gains a copper if they don't reveal a treasure. You gain the trashed cards. When you buy this, do this attack. Wow, that's really interesting. When you play this, you get +1 money. When you play this, and also when you buy it, each other player reveals the top 2 cards of their deck, trashes the silver or gold they revealed that you choose, and discard the rest. Each of these players that did not reveal a treasure at all gains a copper from the supply, putting it into their discard pile. Finally, you gain all of the silvers and gold trashed this way. This cannot trash any treasures except silver or gold. Gaining a Brigand without buying it does not cause this ability to happen. Noble Brigand is an attack card, and when you announce it, players can use cards like Moat to respond. However, playing a Noble Brigand is not playing an attack card, and so cards like Moat cannot respond to it. However, buying a Noble Brigand is not playing an attack card, so cards like Moat do not, respond to that. That's interesting. Noble Camp is up next. 4-cost action, +1 buy, +2 money. This is gained onto your deck instead of into your discard pile. So you're going to get this and put it right on top of your deck. Alrighty, that is the Nomad Camp. When you gain this, it goes on top of your deck rather than into your discard pile. This is true whether you gained it due to buying it or gained it some other way. Next up is a 3-cost action, Oasis. Gives you +1 card, +1 action, +1 money, and discard a card. Alright, that's short, simple, and sweet. You draw a card, get +1 action, +1 money, and then discard a card. Pretty simple. Oracle, 3-cost attack action. Each player, including you, reveals the top 2 cards of their deck and discards them or puts them back. You choose, they choose the order. Then +2 cards. So, you're the Oracle, which makes sense. You're seeing into the future to see what they have. Each player, including you, reveals the top 2 cards of their deck and either discards them, both of them, or puts them both of them back on top. Your choice. A player putting the cards back puts them back in any order they choose, and without needing to reveal that order. Then you draw 2 cards. So if you put back the cards you revealed, you will draw them. Makes sense? And we have the Scheme and another blank card in case you lose one, I think. Scheme. When you play this, you draw a card. It's a 3-cost action. +1 card, +1 action. This turn, you may put one of your action cards onto your deck when you discard it from play. Aha. So when you play this, you draw a card, you get +1 action, and set up an effect to happen later in the turn. Once, when you're discarding an action card from play, you can put it onto your deck. The action card can be Scheme itself, or any other action card you have in play, which might have been played before or after you played Scheme. Scheme is commutatively, you can play 2 schemes or 2 throne rooms on a scheme. You will be able to put up to 2 discarded action cards onto your deck, and so on. That is the Scheme. And we have the Spice Merchant, who has 5 cards for some reason. 4-cost action. You may trash a treasure from your hand to choose one of these. +2 cards and +2 cards and +1 action, or +1 buy and +2 money. The Spice Merchant. So interesting. I think these might be the randomizers. Yep. So these are the randomizers. That's why the Spice Merchants are split up there. Okay, so let's look and see if there's any updated rules on the old spice merchant, shall we? I think we shall. Alright, let's put the deuce over there. Spice merchant. You may trash a treasure from your hand. This is optional. If you did trash a treasure card, you choose to either get +2 cards and +1 action, or +2 money and +1 buy. Next up is stables. Stables is a 5-cost action. You may discard a treasure for +3 cards and +1 action. Stables. You may discard a card from your hand. This is optional. If you do discard one, you get +3 cards and +1 action. After you draw after discarding. So if you have to shuffle to get the 3 cards, you will end up shuffling in the card you discarded. Next up is the trader. The trader is a 4-cost action reaction. Trash a card from your hand. Gain a silver per 1 ducat it costs. When you gain this card, you may reveal this from your hand to exchange the card for a silver. Trash a card from your hand. Gain a silver per 1 money it costs. When you gain a card, you may reveal this from your hand to exchange the card for a silver. Okay, that is the trader. When you play this card, trash the card from your hand, and if you did, gain a number of silvers equal to the cost of that card in money. The silvers come from the supply and are put in your discard pile. You only gain silver if you trashed a card. If you trash a card costing 0, such as copper, you will gain 0 silvers. You can trash silver if you want, but you will gain 3 silvers for it normally. If costs are different, such as due to playing highway, then trader will give you a different number of silvers based on the current cost. For example, if you play highway and then trader, trashing in estates, you'll only gain 1 silver. If you trash a card with alchemy or something else in the cost, you do not gain anything for those, just the money on the card costs. Next up is a card we missed earlier, the Farmland. I wonder what happened to it. And there we go. Farmland. It is a 6-cost victory card. 2 victory points. And when you buy this, trash a card from your hand and gain a card costing exactly 2 more than it. And of course, this says when you buy this, trash a card from your hand if able. And if you did, you gain a card from the supply costing exactly 2 more than the trashed card if able. If there are no cards left in your hand to trash, you do not trash or gain a card. And if you trash the card, but there are no cards in the supply costing exactly 2 more than the trash card, you do not gain a card. This ability only functions when you buy Farmland, not when you gain it some other way. Use 8 copies of Farmland in games with 2 players and 12 for games with 3 or more players. So that was the Farmland. And now we have 4-cost victory card, the Silk Road. It's worth 1 victory point for every 4 victory cards you have, rounded down. Alright, next up is... that was the Silk Road, right? We were going to see if there's any special rules that we need to know about the Silk Road. Silk Road counts themselves. Round down if you have 11 victory cards. Silk Road is worth 2 victory points. Use 8 copies of Silk Road for games with 2 players and 12 for games with 3 or more players. Next up is the Tunnel. Alright, the Tunnel is a 3-cost victory reaction, 2 victory points. When you discard this, other than during cleanup, you may reveal it to gain a gold. When you discard this, other than during cleanup, you may reveal it to gain a gold. And nice allotment of extra cards in case you lose one. You can write up your own card or whatever for it. The Tunnel. Let's read about the Tunnel. Tunnel's reaction. Tunnel's reaction ability functions when you discard it. You cannot simply choose to discard it. Something has to let you or make you discard it. This ability functions whether you discard Tunnel on your own, such as due to Oasis, or on someone else, such as due to Mangrave. It functions if Tunnel is discarded from your hand, such as due to Oasis, or from your deck, such as due to Cartographer, or when set aside. If Tunnel would normally not necessarily be revealed, such as when discarding multiple cards to Cartographer, you have to reveal it to get the gold. Revealing it is not optional. Even if Tunnel was already revealed for some other reason, you are not forced to gain a gold. This ability does not function if cards are put into your discard pile without it being discarded, such as when you buy a card, or when you gain a card directly, such as with Border Village, or when your deck is put into your discard pile, such as with Scavenger. It does not function during cleanup, when you normally discard all your played and unplayed cards. The key thing to look for is the card action telling you to discard a card. The gold you gain comes from the supply and is put into your discard pile. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 new cards to play with, to experience, to try out with Hinterland. And you can see, like we talked about, the theme is obviously when you're cards that have additional effects when you buy them or gain them or discard them or do something else with the cards. A lot of extra text revealed to have that happen. So that's pretty cool. So that's going to be a look at all your core sets here. If you're playing with Hinterlands alone or different other combinations of decks, you have some cool setups that you might want to try out. And there is a look at Dominion Hinterlands. Again, not much in the way of fancy new things, just your core typical, what I would call Dominion box with your inlay, your special divider there, and then gives you slots to put all your cards in and keep everything well organized. So hopefully you guys enjoyed a look at expansion number 6 for Dominion Hinterlands. And we'll see you all next time. So thanks for coming by.